Sitting at the table every night, hoping lady luck will treat me right. Can't win them all, so I've been told. Welcome everybody to the poker show. Small boy and big blindfold or call. Maybe I'll raise and I'll play for it all. Check, raise, slow play, I don't know. This hand sucks, so fuck it, I fold.
All right, now I know a lot of you serious poker players out there, you go to parties, you go to family functions, things like that, and you're either talking with your uncle or you're talking with friends or something, and they will almost always say, well, I'd be terrible at poker because I never have a poker face. You could always tell what I have. Yeah, that's kind of a part of the game, hiding what the strength of your cards are, but it is not the most important thing. There is a time to bluff, and there's a way to catch people bluffing. Now I'm going to teach you some stuff today that'll show you how to catch people bluffing. The bet must fit. Now, what do I mean by that? When I say the bet must fit, as soon as a hand starts, the very second a hand starts, when the dealer starts dealing out cards, you better be putting your opponents on possible starting hands. And then their action before the flop and their action on the flop and on the turn on the river, if you're not narrowing down their possible hands based on what they do at those stages of the hand, you're not going to be a winning player in the long run. Now, let's just take a quick look at a hand, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm sitting in a 2-5 game. Average stack is about $500. We got a full table of 10 people, so there's about $5,000 on the table. I'm in the big blind. I have ace-9 of hearts. 3 people call. It gets to me. I just check because I'm not going to raise in the big blind with ace-9 of hearts. That's silly. If you're doing that, stop doing it. Now the flop comes 8-7-3 with 2 hearts. Now what do I have there? I've got ace-9 of hearts, so I've got 4 to a nut flush. So I've got a nut flush draw, which is pretty good, and I've got 2 overcards to the board. There are 4 of us in pre-flop, so there's 20 bucks in the pot. I'm not going to count the $2 from the small blind because that's going to get raked away anyway. So just for our purposes, we're going to say there's $20 in the pot. I bet the pot. Now why do I bet right here? A couple reasons. Number one, there's only 4 people in. It's a pretty crappy flop. I'm going to find out. Maybe no one else has the flop. Maybe they all have face cards and they missed completely. So I can take down $20 without having any kind of hand at all. That's one good reason. Reason number 2, if somebody calls me, that's okay. I've got the nut flush draw and 2 overcards. So the turn card could either give me the stone cold nuts, or it could pair my ace, or it could pair my 9. Either way, it's a pretty good hand. I'm going to find out where I am. Reason number 3, if somebody raises me, I only bet $20. It's not that big a deal. If somebody raises me, unless they go crazy and put $100 or $200 out there, I'm probably going to be able to call them and get more money into the pot for the possibility that I hit my flush. If a lot of people call me, even better. I've got all that money in case I hit my flush. Here's the 4th reason, and here's a pretty good one too. If you don't need to mix up your play, or you don't need to have that crazy poker face to hide the strength of your hand. You just need to play hands in a certain way. If I bet out here, what happens later when I flop a monster hand like a set of 7s or a set of 4s or something like that, and I bet out? Those people, I've now put it in their head that I am capable of betting on a flush draw, so they might have an overpair at the time or top pair with a good kicker. They might raise me and believe that I just have a flush draw, so I come back over them and I may take down a huge pot because of what I did with this ace-9. So there's 4 good reasons I gave to bet out at this hand. Now let's say I get called, and in this particular hand I did get called because that wasn't actually the point of this story. The point of the story is coming up, how to catch a bluffer, because the bet doesn't fit. I bet my $20. Tom calls me. What do I know about Tom? Tom is a very solid player. He's not too fancy. He plays very straightforward poker. So when he calls, that gives me a lot of information about what's in his hand. The guy on the button called. I didn't really know much about him, so I couldn't put him on a big range of hands. But let's look right now at what I can figure out from Tom's hand by the way he played it by just calling. All right? Now this is something that's a little more advanced, but this is how you put people on hands, and this is how you become a winning poker player. Tom's a straightforward player. I've already told you that. What hands can I rule out now that Tom cannot have? He cannot have a pair, any pair in his hand, no pocket pair. That's a pretty big conclusion you say I'm jumping to. How do I get to that conclusion? Well, here it is. Tom's a solid player, right? So if he had pocket 9s, 10s, or jacks, he's got an overpair to the board, because the board is 8-7-3. He's got an overpair to the board. Now, he does not want to give somebody a chance if he's got 9s, 10s, or jacks. he doesn't want to give somebody a chance to catch a turn card because there are a ton of turn cards that hurt him. Any ace, any king, any queen, if he's got 9s or 10s, then any jack. That's a ton that hurt him. So most good, solid players who play straightforward poker, given this board, 8, 7, 3, if they have an overpair to that, you better believe they're going to raise right there, try to end the pot there, take down a thing with their overpair. So I can rule out 9s, 10s, or jacks. What about aces, kings, and queens? No way Tom has aces, kings, and queens. Why? Because he's in middle to late position, and pre-flop he didn't raise, he just called. Tom's a very solid, straightforward player. Once again, straightforward players are going to raise with aces, kings, and queens. He doesn't have those. Any pair under that, if he's got pocket 8s, now he's got a set of 8s. If he's got pocket 7s, now he's got a set of 7s. Pocket 3s, he's got a set of 3s. Let's rule out those hands. Why? Because there's 2 hearts on the board, so there's a flush draw. And if he has a set, he is afraid of a flush draw, so he wants to get all those flush draws out of there, or at the very least make them pay a lot of money to draw to their flush. So he probably doesn't have that. If he puts us on a straight draw, because there's a 7-8 out there too, so a 5-6 is a nice straight draw, 9-10 is a normal hand that people would play pre-flop. That's got a nice straight draw out there too. He is not going to allow anybody to draw at that straight for free either. So because of the texture of the board, there's a straight draw and a flush draw, we can instantly rule out that he has 8s, 7s, or 3s. Now if Tom has one of those, I'm going to be very shocked at the way he's playing this hand, because Tom's a straightforward player, and most straightforward players would raise when they're threatened by those things. They would raise with their set to at least make people pay a lot of money to try to draw against them. All right, what about the other pairs you're saying? Deuces, 4s, 5s, and 6s. Once again, Tom's not an idiot, and we've talked about this in a previous show. If somebody bets and there's cards above your pocket pair on board, you probably should throw your pocket pair away. All right? So if I'm betting out, and Tom has played against me enough times, Tom knows I'm not an idiot either. So if I bet out, especially from the big blind, 8, 7, 3, there's been no raise pre-flop, I could have anything. I could easily have an 8. I could have a jack 8, a deuce 8, a 5, 8, anything. I've got better than his pocket 5s, 6s, 4s, or 2s. So you see how I narrowed down that range of hands? A lot of people might say Tom could have one of those. Absolutely no chance Tom has a pocket pair in his hand. All right, that rules out all those. So I just narrowed down the range of hands Tom can have, and this is what a good poker player does all the time. Let's look at some other possibilities Tom might have. Could he have ace 8? Maybe ace 8 of clubs, because it's ace 8 suited. He might play that pre-flop. It's not a great hand, but it's not a crappy hand either. Does he have that? Absolutely not. Why? Same reason he doesn't have 9s, 10s, or jacks. Tom would raise me if he's got top pair, which is the 8 now, because the flop is 8, 7, 3. Tom's got top pair with top kicker. There is no chance, if he's got that hand, that Tom is not going to raise me right there, because he needs to make sure he gets out any of those other hands. The straight draws, the flush draws, or even someone calling with 2 overcards, because if someone calls with a queen jack, they got 6 outs on the turn against his ace 8, right? So top pair, top kicker, no chance. And I'm going to rule out every other 8 as well. 8, 9, he'd do the same thing. 8, 10, 8, jack, 8, king, 8, queen. I don't think he'd play 8, jack, 8, queen, 8, king. But we're going to rule out him having an 8 in his hand for every single one of those reasons. What about a 7? It's possible. Okay, it is possible he's got ace 7, and he's seeing if I'm just throwing a tester bet out there, and he's going to call me and see what I have on the turn. So I will leave ace 7 up on the list of possible hands Tom might have. Okay, what do I think he more likely has? I think he's got a flush draw or a straight draw. He's a straightforward player. If you're a straightforward player and somebody bets out in front of you and you have a straight or a flush draw, what's the normal play to make? Call the bet, see the turn card, see if you make your hand. Tom's a straightforward player, so I'm putting him on a straight draw or a flush draw or possibly ace 7. I doubt it, but I'm still going to leave it in the range of possibilities. Everybody else folds except the guy on the button. He insta-calls. I'm just going to put him, just because I don't know much about him, I'm going to put him in the same range of hands. I didn't see him play anything stupid before, but I also haven't played enough to be able to narrow it down like I can narrow down Tom's hand. Okay, that gets us past the flop. You think that's a lot of information? You should process that in just milliseconds at the table if you're paying attention and practicing this, and that's what we're doing. We're putting our opponents on a range of hands now. All right, the turn card comes out of 5 of spades. What does that do? I've got to decide now, did I put Tom on a straight draw? The only reason that card would hurt me is if Tom had a straight draw, but the only way a straight draw makes sense there that would complete his straight was if he had 6-9. Because when the flop was 3-7-8, he'd have 6-7-8-9, and now the 5 completes his straight. Do I really think Tom's playing 6-9? No. Why? He's too solid of a player. Let's get back to that again. I put him in a range of hands before the flop. 6-9 is not one of them because Tom's a good player. And I know I've said it a lot, but it bears repeating. This is what you're doing when you're sitting at a table, paying attention when you fold hands, paying attention to how other people play. This is the important stuff. Okay, now I don't give him credit for that. The other straight, if he had a 4-6, I doubt if Tom's going to call $20 on the flop with a gut shot draw. If he has 4-6, yes, he's got that gut shot that if he spikes a 5, he's got a straight 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But I don't think he has that, or actually be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't think he has 4-6 or 6-9. So I rule that straight draw out. Okay, he still might have 9-10. But I'm still wondering what I'm going to do on the turn. Tom's already told me he doesn't have top pair. He might have ace-7. If he has ace-7, he called my bet on the flop just to probe to see if I was just throwing out a tester bet. I'm going to bet again right here with my ace-9 of hearts. Why? Because I represented that I have top pair on the flop. I'm going to represent that again. I'm not going to get crazy with it, but I'm going to throw out a nice size bet, and I bet $40. I bet about half the pot. Okay, there was $80 in the pot. After there was 20 pre-flop. I bet 20 on the flop. Tom calls 20. The button calls 20. That's 60 more there. There was 80 in the pot. I'm going to bet half the pot. Now, Tom calls me instantly again, letting me know no way he's got a straight, and I'm doubting now that he has that straight draw because I think he would have given it up here. And now I'm going to rule out that he's got an ace-7, 95%. He still might have it, and he still might think I'm bluffing, but I'm guessing Tom probably has a straight or a flush draw. The button calls instantly again as well. Wasn't real happy about it, but not much I could do about it, okay? I still don't know where he is, so I'm going to put him on the same range of hands. All right, now let's get to the river. There's 40, 40, and 40 in on the turn. That's 120 plus the 80 that was already in there. There's $200 in the pot now. We've turned from what became a limp-in pot for 4 guys seeing it for $5 to a $200 pot, which is worth taking down. River comes out, another 8. Now there's 2 8s out there, a 7, a 5, and a 3, and there's no flush. What should I do here? Well, a lot of people would say you got no hand, so you got to bluff at it. That is a mistake, and let me tell you why. There are only 2 reasons to bet the river. Okay, only 2 ways you're going to earn any money by betting the river. Number 1 is to get somebody to call you with a hand worse than yours. I've got ace-9, folks. Nobody is going to call my bet on the river with a hand that ace-9 can beat. So if I bet and get called, I know I'm beat. The second reason to bet the river, to get somebody to fold a hand that's better than yours. Now, what hands are better than mine right now? Any pair, obviously, and I don't know about the guy on the button, but I've ruled out that Tom can't have a pair. If he's got ace-7, could a bet by me on the river get him out? Well, he hasn't believed me so far that I have an 8, because if he did believe me, he would have folded on the flop or on the turn. So on the river, when the 8 pairs out there, that doesn't change anything. Either I have an 8 or I don't. Tom has already told me by calling my bet on the flop and my bet on the turn that he doesn't believe I have an 8 if he's holding ace-7 or any 7. I don't think he's holding that hand, but if he is, he's already told me that he's going to call me all the way down. So any bet I make there, he's going to call me with a 7 because he didn't believe I had an 8, and he's going to take that money away from me. So that would be silly to bet there. What else can I beat? There's no other reason to bet the river. So even though I thought about it to keep representing the 8, I knew it wasn't going to earn me any extra money, so I checked. What does Tom do? Tom bet $75. All right. Now I got to think, what the heck's going on? Tom just bet $75 into a $200 pot, and I will give him credit. That is a fantastic bet because it's big enough that it's going to make somebody fold a really weak hand, but it is also small enough that it doesn't look like he's trying to buy the pot. It looks like he kind of wants to get called there. So I knew as soon as he bet $75 that if the guy on the button called, I would fold my hand instantly. There is no chance ace high, which is what I held now, no chance ace high could beat a bet and a call on the river. So what happens? The guy on the button throws his hand away instantly. Now I got to think, what does Tom have? So what do? I look at Tom. Why? Am I trying to get a tell on him? No. All I'm doing, I'm looking at Tom now, and I am just sitting there thinking through the hand. Why not look at Tom? I got to look somewhere, right? So I'm going to look at the guy I'm playing against. Everybody else at the table thinks I'm trying to get a read on Tom. What am I actually doing? I got to be facing somewhere, so I'm just going to face him. It doesn't really matter. I'm not looking at him. I don't care if his eye twitches or not. That's not going to tell me anything. What I'm thinking is, did I analyze this hand correctly all the way through? And I went back through my thought process. What did I put him on? I didn't put him on a pair. I didn't put him on an overpair. I didn't put him on a set. I put him on a flush draw or a straight draw. Now, if he has ace-7 in this instance, if he had that, because I told you I gave him maybe a 5% chance of having that. If he has an ace-7, I really, really did not think that Tom would value bet that hand on the river the way the hand played out. I think he would have been very happy to check it and see if his ace-7 took the pot down with his pair of 8s and a pair of 7s now, and that's a $200 pot. I think he just would have checked it. He wouldn't have value bet this. So I'm going back to what the 2 reasons to bet the river, because I know Tom knows this. He's a good poker player. To get somebody to call you with a worse hand, if he had ace-7, I don't think he would bet it there, because I don't think in his mind he would get called by a hand worse than ace-7. So I'm going to rule that out. To get somebody to fold a better hand than you have. Oh, now we're talking. If he had a 9-10 and flopped the open-ended straight, 7-8, 9-10, now he could get me to fold a better hand than him. He could easily, with a $75 bet, get somebody that's on a flush draw, that a jack, queen, king, or ace-high flush draw. Those are all hands that are better than his now. He could easily get someone to fold a jack-high flush draw right here, a hand that if he just checked and turned the cards face up, he would lose. But now with a bet, he could win. That's a good play by Tom. But guess what? If he's on a straight draw, it has to be lower than ace-high, because there is no ace-high straight draw out there. If he's on a flush draw that didn't get there, it has to be lower than ace-high, because I'm holding the ace of hearts. So what do? I'm looking at Tom the whole time. Then finally I say, nope, I got to call you. And I called $75. Tom says, that's a good call, because all I have is queen jack of hearts. Exactly where I put him, on a flush draw that was lower than mine. What did I do? I said, well, that makes me feel good, because all I have is ace-9 of hearts. People at the table, jaws dropped. Even the dealer said, holy crap, how do you make that call? I called $75 to win a $275 pot now, the $200 that was already in there plus Tom's $75. So it ended up being a $350 pot. I had to call $75, but I didn't do it because I'm some genius or because I was staring at Tom and I picked up a tell. I did it because the entire time I was playing that hand, I put him on a range of hands and I narrowed them down with every street we went through. And then his bet on the river did not fit the way he played the rest of the hand. Let me say that again. His bet on the river did not fit the way he played the rest of his hand. If he had what he was representing on the river, he would have played some other street differently. And that right there is why I was able to take that down. Now, other people at the table, they gave me credit for being a great hand reader and all this kind of stuff. It wasn't about picking up a tell. It was about paying attention from the very first second a hand starts. We'll talk more about this in the future. Until next time, I hope you can start understanding what good poker players are thinking at the table. They're thinking from the time the hand starts to the time the hand ends, and they never stop in between. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching Poker Talk.
That was a long one.
Wow. You mean to tell me you think of all that stuff that all goes through your head when you're sitting at a poker table? Boy, remind me never to play poker with you.
Wait a minute. You offered me a game of strip poker. You can't revoke that now.
How about this? I'll just get naked and save us both a lot of time.
Okay. Hey, what's with the clipboard? What do you got?
Oh, you are absolutely right. The show is getting very popular. These are all questions from everybody who watched last week's episode. And there's lots of poker situations they want you to comment on.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
What to do when they get check raised from the blinds with an underpair, and when to leave when they're getting cold decked, and heck with this, I don't understand any of it. You deal with it. You know what might be easier? Why don't we just put your email address on an episode and they can direct all their questions there?
That's a really good idea. What if instead of me answering the emails individually, though, to the people, what if I like printed off the good ones and we took the phone calls and things like that, and we put a segment on the show called like Ask Paul or something like that, and then I could answer them all on the air?
Well, you know we can't do call-ins because we're not live, but yeah, it should be easy to put in a segment where you're just going to answer all the emails. Sure, yeah.
Cool. Let's do that.
Okay.
Hey, whatever happened with that movie that you were so excited about with the costumes and all that? Because the rat or the fleeter thing?
Yeah.
That,
Go on.
That looked like fun.
Oh, no, fun was not the operating word. Oh my gosh. Come on, don't bullshit me. Give me all your crap.
All right,
Come
Jess
on.
and I were sitting there watching, and we saw the trailer, and there were guns and some special effects and stuff. It looked like a good time.
It was the worst experience of my life. The director was a scumbag. I mean, he couldn't keep his hands off me, off the other female actresses. We all walked off the set. It was awful. It was terrible.
Sorry to hear that.
But one of the extras did say that Jess turned down my part. Why didn't you tell me?
You seemed so excited to get the role that I didn't want to burst your bubble, and well, I don't have to tell you, and Jess aren't exactly the best of friends, so I didn't exactly know how that whole thing would play out. So
You're right. I know. We should be best of friends, though. We sure as heck have a lot in common. I mean, we're both struggling actresses here in the Hollywood Midwest, and we both have excellent taste in men.
yeah, that's debatable.
Jess and I should be really good friends.
Yeah, right. Well, stranger things have happened.
Hey, do me a favor. Would you call her and tell her how sorry I am for the way I behaved? Never mind. Know what? Strike that statement. I'm going to call her myself.
Oh my, I'm afraid to ask.
Oh, well, don't be. It's just a little project I'm working on.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. Whatever it is, make sure you get all this crap cleaned up in a half hour. We gotta open.
Well, it'll be cleaned up, but you don't have to call it crap.
How you doing, sir? I'm Paul Markham.
Hey, Paul. Hi, I'm Ron Verlander. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Ron. So, Kevin tells me you got some questions about how things work around here?
Yeah, but before we get to that, can you explain a little bit about these dolls you have for sale here in the case?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to be able to answer your question on that, but holy cow, Jess. I think for that, I'm going to have to refer you to our manager, Jess, over there. She handles all the non-poker things that go on around here.
I'll do that. Very interesting.
So, you got a charity or something that you want to get in here for a fundraiser?
Yes, I do. I'm a member of the Eagles Club, and we'd like to know a little more about your operation here.
All right, no problem. Why don't we go back in my office, we'll sit down, talk, and hash it out and figure out if it's right for you guys to do here.
Sounds great.
All right.
Hey, Bird Lady.
Watch it, Gary.
Why do you call her Bird Lady?
Oh, she was out in a parrot costume out at the road trying to get people in here.
Did it work?
That's exactly why I came. Hey, how much for them stupid things in the case over there?
They're $20 each.
I mean, how much to take the stupid things out of here?
That was a little harsh, wasn't it, Gary?
Hey, if Birdie wants to be an actress, she's gonna have to get thicker skin than that.
Paul, can I ban Gary from playing here?
Jess, I'm kind of in the middle of something right now.
Okay.
Why? What'd Gary do?
All right, nothing. He's just being a jerk, and I just think he should go.
What did he do specifically? I can't just ban him because you say to. He had to have done something.
You know what? Forget it. Because it was about my creations, and you probably would just side with him anyway.
Your creations? Are you behind the creative force of those dolls out there in the cabinet?
Yes, I am. What, you want to rip on him now, too?
On the contrary, young lady, I'd like to purchase one for my granddaughter.
Really? Oh my god, that's so great! Ah! I'm gonna pick out like the perfect special super favorite one. It's gonna be awesome.
And how do you know which one's the best?
We just need to never mind about that. Leave it up to me. Ah!
Well, it wasn't very bad for her. Hey, where's my cards?
You're banned from the club for one hand.
For what?
For being an evil little man.
And I was the harsh one. Thanks for coffee.
Oh, Misty Covington? No, Misty Covington, no. You're my special, you're my perfect, you have hot dogs and confetti and sprinkles and
Jess.
cupcakes.
Seriously, dude, you gotta stop this. You're creeping me out talking to these Chucky doll concoctions this way. I mean, you're freaking out some of the players. They're getting worried that you lost your mind.
No, but it's Misty Covington. She's my perfect. She needs to know that. I'm just trying to give them love. She's my special.
She's your special. She's like a half-eaten dog chew toy with Barbie doll boots and a pontoon glued to her ass.
You take that back. You're just jealous of my artistic ability.
Just this is not art. This is garbage you found in the dumpster out back.
I'm recycling.
Recycling what? Ebola? I mean, Jesus, these things are so germ-infested. Wait, did you even wash them before you brought them in here?
Yes, I did. In fact, you've got a whole thing of Windex in the back. I sprayed them all off before I even put yours in the case.
Put mine in the case.
Yeah, Polly Wall and the Raiders.
Polly Wall and the... What are you talking about?
I made a whole collection for you. I named them
Of these things?
Yeah, I named them after you.
Why?
Well, I don't know. I thought you'd like it. It's, thoughtful.
Thoughtful. It's psycho, Jess.
You're mean. And you know what? The players, they like them.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
They do. Just ask,
Ask Gary?
You're an ass.
Yeah, okay, I may be, and you may be an artist or whatever, but... I don't mean to be rude or anything, Jess, but...
But what?
I have work to do. Actual work for the poker room.
So?
So whatever it is you're doing here, can you do it somewhere else?
You're mean. Honey, do you have a button?
What?
I need this.
Jess?
Oh, I need your shoelaces too.
Jess, what? Why?
Paul, just give it to me.
I want my shoelaces.
Paul, come on. Quit being a pansy. Just give it.
Nobody wants any of those Chucky concoctions you're doing out there.
Yes, they do. People love them.
Oh, they do not.
Yes, they do.
Whoa, I'll come back later.
No, Kevin, it's fine. What do you need?
Quit kicking me.
Oh, Karen's here to see you.
What?
What?
Yeah, she said something about the show.
Jess, would you go be Dr. Frankenstein somewhere else, please? I got some business to discuss with Karen.
You suck. Hey, Jess, I want to talk to you too.
Whatever.
What was that all about?
Oh, don't ask. It's Jess being Jess. Hey, did you bring that article from Lake Orion Review?
Oh, yes I do. Right here, page 3A.
Awesome.
No, you know what? I was thinking,
Hey, I need a stapler. Thank you.
anyway, I was thinking, we could get an article into the spinal column. Now, I know before you say, oh, they're too far, Liv, hear me out.
I need an X-Acto knife.
Jess, I don't have an X-Acto knife. Here, I've got a box cutter. Will that work?
Is it sharp?
It should be.
Perfect.
Alrighty. Anyway, I know you're going to think that the spinal column is demographically way far away from us.
Sorry.
But
Jess.
What? I need my underwear.
What underwear?
The underwear on the desk.
Why is there underwear in the dress?
I need my underwear in the desk.
Right now?
Yeah.
For the dolls?
No, for me.
Why?
Because I'm not wearing any.
Oh, Jesus, Jess.
What? Just give them to me, Paul.
No.
Do you want me to get them?
No, I don't. I'll give them to you later. Can you I got some
Why
business
can't I just have them now?
I've got some business I got to discuss with Karen. Can you please leave us alone to talk for a few minutes?
Fine.
That's an interesting new project there, Jess.
Thank you.
What do you call this one?
I call this one death.
It's a little off the spirit of these other ones, don't you think?
No, I don't think so. It's not for the rest of the collection.
Well, what's this one for?
This one is a one-of-a-kind, sort of special piece I'm working on for a special someone.
Little Death. Oh, little Death. Oh, I'm gonna get you. Oh, Death, know your heart. Do you have a heart, little Death? No.
what does she need all that stuff for?
Oh, she's working on some psycho concoction thing.
Hi, I need a butter knife.
Jess, what the hell?
Come on, just from like your bagel this morning.
I really need to talk to you, Jess, okay, before I leave?
Oh, God. Bugger off.
Bugger off? What are you, Australian now, mate?
I know why she's upset. She's upset because I'm here. So, I'm leaving, all right? Give me a call if you want me to talk to my contact. Enjoy the article.
Thanks, Karen.
Hi, Karen. I have something for you, too.
Okay, but let me go first, all right? 2 things. Number 1, I want to apologize for whatever it is we've been fighting about. I mean, I know we audition for the same roles all over town, and I don't know, I don't see why we just can't be friends. Oh, by the way, Paul told me about the bat, how you turned down the part. Mm-hmm. Good call on your part. Hey, that director turned out to be a jerk. Oh yeah, I ended up quitting the whole thing and now the project's dead.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Karen. Didn't you say there was 2 things?
Oh, yes. I saw this audition posting. It's for an artsy detective type, and hey, I thought you'd be perfect in the role.
Well, Karen, this is like a really good audition. I mean, it's a paying gig. Like, why aren't you keeping it for yourself? Why'd you give it to me?
Well, because I'm sure you've been told this hundreds of times, you do look like Frances McDormand, okay? And she would be, you know, that type that's perfect for this role. I mean, when you smirk, you know, your lips kind of do this weird thing, and then your cheeks kind of, and there it is. That's the face. You are a shoo-in for this role.
Thank you, Karen.
Well, you're welcome. You said you had something for me.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to congratulate you on the Fledermaus thing, because that takes a lot of courage to take on a role like that, and I'm just really sorry it didn't work out for you.
Well, you know, life of an actor, eh? You know how it is. Things aren't always going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I gotta go, but good luck on the audition. Let me know how it goes, okay?
I will.
Okay.
Thanks.
Looking for an answer to the question everybody wants to ask. When will I shine? How was I to know that I would lose my way? The situation that surrounds me help lead me astray. I need to find myself somehow. Where is the real me I used to know? Where is the real me I used to know? The devil on my shoulder killed the angel and took over my soul. Once the fire started, there